Welcome back to Practical AutoCAD and Inventor. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use AutoCAD to create the development of a truncated prism. A truncated prism is simply a rectangular solid that has one surface that is rectangular or square and the other one where the surface is cut off at an angle, as you can see in this isometric drawing here. So you'll see at the bottom I've got a square surface. These are 90-degree angles here, and at the top it's cut off at an angle. And I've created the views here as well, front, top, and side, just so that you can see all of the important points. It's one important thing to note that usually when you're looking at a drawing like this, the numbers that are on the outside of a drawing are visible or closer to the observer, and the ones that are on the inside of the drawing are further away. So in this case, 5 is behind 1, 6 is behind 2, and if you look at this isometric here, if I'm standing here looking in this direction, 5 is behind 1, 6 is behind 2, 7 is behind 3, and 8 is behind 4. So that's why we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the front, and then 5, 6, 7, and 8 in the back. Now, in order to create this development, what we'll want to do is first create what we call a stretch out line. Now, your stretch out line needs to be the perimeter of the object. So if I come in and look at this top view, this is the true perimeter around the bottom of this object. So I can just use my measure tool here, and I can see that it's 2.5 inches in one direction and 2 inches in the other direction, giving me a total perimeter of 9 inches. So I'm simply going to come in here now and I say I'm going to want a perimeter that is lined up with the bottom here, and I'm going to stretch it out exactly 9 inches in this direction. So now this line right here represents, all the way around this object. I'm going to start at point 2 and go 2, 1, 5, 6, back to 2. Or actually, in this case, because 3 is at the bottom, I'm going to go 3, 4, 8, 7, and then back to 3. So I'm going to put 3 here, and then 4, and then 8, and then 7, and then back to 3. Now, for the purposes of construction, I'm going to change to a different layer here, and I'm going to put in some other lines. The next thing I'll want to do is I'll want to transfer my height from this side view or even from this front view and put them over here in where I have my development. So again, I'll just draw a line from my front view or my side view, it doesn't really matter, straight across over here. So now I can transfer, I'm basically just transferring my heights from this view to this view, and these are true length because they are vertical lines here. Okay, they're vertical, they're not inclined at all. The next thing I'll want to do is I'll want to draw in this line here, 3, 2. You can see here it's 3, 2, and again that is also a true length line. So I'll just draw that in. I'm going to draw it in a little bit too long. Pardon me, I'm going to do that again. I'm going to draw it in a little bit too long because I can always go back in later and then trim it out. So this is point 3, and then the next one I'm going to put in is point 4, and I just like to use offset. So I'll say, okay, let's offset. My distance is from 3 to 4. I'll offset that line there, okay? And then I can do the same thing, from 1 to 5 or from 4 to 8, however you want to think of that. Okay, it's the same distance here. So again, I'll say offset from 4 to 8. That's going to be that side. The next one, again, is from 8 to 7, so I'll say offset from 8 to 7, offsetting that line there. And then the last one is from 6 to 2, happens to be the same distance I have left, but I'll go ahead and just prove to you that it still works. There's my offset distance. There's the thing that I need to offset. Notice they come up there at the right size. And if I were to measure each one, 2.5, 2, 2.5, 2. Okay, so we're all good there. And at this point, if it helps, you can come in and you can put in some numbers. I like to do it. It's totally helpful. So I'm just going to copy and I'll copy this 3, and I'm just going to put it a few places here. So I've got, this will be 3, right? And then back to 3. Now they're all, of course, 3s now, but it's in this case it's 3, 4, 8, and then 7. So 3, and then I'll just change this and make sure I know that it's a 4, 4, 8, 7, and then this one stays a 3 because it's 3 to 4, that's one side, 4 to 8, that's the second side, 8 to 7, that's the third side, and then 7 back to 3, that's the fourth side. So 3 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 7, 7 back to 3. I also could come through and put these numbers in. I'm not going to bother to do it now, but again, if we look at it, you know, we have 0.2 in the top here, so this would be 2, right? And then 1, okay, because we're going 2, 1, and then 5 and 6, back to 2. So this will be 2, 1, 5, 6, and back to 2. At this point, however, I'm going to just simply switch back to my visible layer, and I'll put in those lines from 2 to 1, 1 to 6, and that, and then back to 2 right there. I can also put in my vertical elements, and I'll just put those in with lines. So I've got all of my sides in. I got one more I need to add here. Okay, all of my sides are in. These are going to be the fold lines where the object would be folded. These in the middle, and these on the outsides will be cut lines. If I come in and erase for now my construction lines, you can see that I've got the outsides, the edges of it. All I need now are my two surfaces, my top surface and my bottom surface. So if I think about this, when I put my top surface in, it needs to be this length right here. And again, my first best friend is offset, so I'll just say offset from there to there, that line like that. And it's also going to be this line like that just for the bottom. And then I can extend these out. Extend that one more time. And then trim off what I don't need. So I'll trim that and that. And then I just need my top surfaces here. And just to clean things up a little bit, I will move these numbers so they're not right over my points. So now, if you notice, if when I fold this up, that point stays where it is, this point will meet that point, right? This point stays where it is, this point will meet that point, this point will meet that point, right? This point will be folded all the way around and come back to that point, which is also that point. And so all of the numbers have to match up. And that's how you're going to complete your, that's how you complete your development of a parallel line prism.